Transportation Committee meeting. Today is Monday, January 9th, 2023. Our first item of business today is approval of the agenda and minutes from the December 12th, 2022 meeting.
Move approval of the December 12th, 2022 minutes.
All right, second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion passes. First up, we have a new applicant for certificate of public need of conveyance from Blessed Beyond Transportation. Detective Pitts.
So, Mr. Chairman, we have a new application for a non-emergency medical service, Blessed Beyond Transportation, and their address is 1508 5 Acre Road in Hurontown, Alabama.
All right, is the applicant present? Ms. Harrison present? Yes. Okay. So your item is up for consideration. Would you mind coming to the podium and telling us about your business?
I'm kind of nervous. So my name is Pamela Harrison. My business I wanted to represent as far as me being able to give back to the community. I know there's a lot of transportation people that is needed for the elderly. I see this every day because I work also training doctors and nurses on medical software. So me doing that, I see that a lot of patients be left for hours. So I don't want my business to be represented so far as for money, but being able to help, for the elderly. So I have a transportation, 12-passenger van, and my operation hours, I want to do Monday through Sunday, whenever the time is needed for transportation.
Okay. And this would be based on the client's doctor's appointments and things like that?
Doctor's appointments, yes. Whatever is really needed. Just want to be able to give back.
Okay. And you're based out of Hueytown, but you would be operating in the city of Birmingham, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Council Woods, you have any questions?
No, sir. I think we're good. I move to approve.
All right. Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. That passes. So this will go to the full council for consideration, likely not next week, maybe the week after.
Okay.
So, but it'll advance out of this committee with a recommendation from the committee that it be approved.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. All right. Next up, we have Collier Kids LLC. Also applying for non-emergency medical services, CPNC.
Mr. Chairman, we have new application for a non-emergency medical service, Collier's Kid LLC, and their address is 5238 Mossy Brook Court in Belsom, Alabama. This applicant has met the necessary requirements to move forward.
Okay. Ms. Constance Collier, yes. Go ahead. Yes. So if I recall correctly, you were here before us getting a permit for executive sedan service?
Yes.
Yes, and this is now,
August, I think.
go ahead. This is now for non-emergency medical service?
Yes, yes it is.
Okay. So you're based in Bessemer, but you'd be operating in the city of Birmingham, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So I have a transportation service, Call Kids Travel for children, and I want to get the NEMT or child transportation for children that needs medical transportation, to the hospital or like doctor's appointments or whatever they need. So that's something I wanted to try with the, NEMT.
Okay. Council Woods, you have any questions?
No, sir. I think you're good. I'll move approval.
All right. Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. So again, this will advance to the full council for consideration.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Next up, we have Mr. Alexander, who's going to give us an update from Birmingham Department of Transportation.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm Colin Alexander, Service Planner with the Birmingham Department of Transportation. I'm just going to kind of sort of some high-level updates on a couple of topics. The first one I'm going to start with is paving. As you guys know, last week the full council voted to accept Dunn Construction's bid for our local resurfacing package, which is for slightly over $12 million. We plan to start construction on that into February, early March, and go throughout the year. It's approximately 250 street segments, approximately 40 miles of streets that are going to be resurfaced. There'll be 15 complete street segments that'll be striped in as part of this project as well. Some minor sidewalk repairs, ADA ramps, sort of our typical resurfacing package. But I did want to address a couple of questions that the full council had last week and sort of see if I can address those here. In addition to our local package, we do have 2 grant packages that we've been working on for a couple years to try to get going. We have an ALDOT funded package and then an MPO funded package. The ALDOT funded package we're hoping to let here in the next few weeks, and that would hopefully go for construction late spring, early summer. And then the larger package, the MPO funded package, which includes Springville Road, which I know Councilor Woods was asking about, when that one was going to be paved. We're planning to hopefully get that one let sometime this summer with construction later in the year. So that's the plan for those 2 grant packages.
Can you speak to the scale of those grant packages?
The ALDOT one is, I think, somewhere around $2.5 million, and then the MPO one's like $4.5 million. I'd have to go back on the specifics and street segments, et cetera.
Okay.
One of the segments that we pulled out of those grant packages earlier this year and did as a local project is Jefferson Avenue, which we're resurfacing between 40th Street Southwest and 31st Street. The paving for that has been completed. We've got some minor striping to finish up, but that project is nearly completed. And then the final update in terms of paving, which I believe it was Councilor Clark brought this up, and I think Councilor Moore also had questions about it from last week, is the pavement management program that the council allocated $500,000 for. We are in the process of developing an RFP right now. We hope to have that RFP ready to go to be published by the end of this month, and we'll be looking to secure a contractor hopefully next month to begin a package that we hope will include scanning our street network to give us a full data set and then providing software to help us plan accordingly.
So would this incorporate the ground penetrating radar as a assessment tool?
We haven't finished all the specifics on what we're looking for. I mean, any potential contractor could provide that as part of their service if they wanted to provide the apply for a proposal.
Okay.
But we haven't finalized exactly what sort of the specifics that we want to see, and then obviously it's up to the proposal to include more.
Right, but it would be based on more than just visual inspection.
It would include visual inspection for sure. I'm not exactly sure what the data set we're going to land on yet, that we're still working that out internally in terms of what the RFP is going to look like.
So your boss has heard this from me more than once, but, you know, selection of segments for street paving has gone through various iterations over the years, including political motivations. And, you know, I'm happy that we're in a place where that's less of a consideration nowadays, and it's more in the hands of city staff who make those decisions based on engineering considerations. However, you know, there's still a lot left to be desired in terms of evaluation, and you know, technology like ground penetrating radar that you can have mounted in a van and traveling at regular traffic speeds, you know, offers a lot of capacity to gather data about what lies beneath the surface, and, you know, the capacity to do quality control on work that's already been done. So, you know, I would definitely encourage those types of analysis, and also consideration of things like, you know, open data on, you know, traffic counts. So, you know, it makes sense to put our investments where they're going to have the greatest amount of impact. And again, you know, I don't know that historically that's always been the case. So, you know, I think we've come a long way over the last several years, and there's some parameters, you know, that are pretty easily attainable that we can include in our evaluation. So look forward to seeing that. I don't think the city has ever had anything that it would describe as a pavement management plan. So we're breaking new ground here, so to speak.
Absolutely. Well, before I move on, were there any other questions regarding paving from either councilors?
I do have a question regarding the paving. Has a map been created?
There is a map. We're working on getting it uploaded to our website and getting that updated. So the map itself has not been updated. The segments are posted on our website now and by council district, so you can actually go in and pull up a PDF document that tells you the streets in each district that are going to be repaved next year. The map should be up by the end of the month.
Okay. Is that going to go beyond 2023, or?
It's just going to update for what's being done in the 2023.
Okay.
So it'll look just like the current map that's on our department website, but it'll now have another color layer to show the 2023 package.
Okay. Right. Yeah, that would be helpful. I know I got a re-inquiry last week from a constituent that, you know, I guess having some difficulty figuring out whether or not, you know, their area of concern was being addressed. So I think a map is a little bit more easy for people to interpret.
No, we agree. We just haven't quite gotten the time to get that posted up, but it'll be up before construction on the project starts.
Okay.
Okay. The next topic we're going to bring up is the.
Can you go back?
Oh,
to
no, go
paving?
ahead. Yeah. Yes, guys.
If you could talk about the timeline on the state-funded stuff.
So the goal is to have both of those under construction by the end of this calendar year. The smaller one should be let sooner, and then the larger one we're hoping to be able to let in the summer. There's still some loopholes that can always, or hurdles that can come up with grant-funded projects that can sometimes delay, as we know. But right now we're moving pretty well with both projects.
Talk about when you're saying grant-funded projects.
Yeah, so we have an ALDOT-funded project and an MPO-funded project. Both of these were grant funds that we put a local match to. This was done several years ago, I think 5 or 6 years ago. When we started that process, we received funds from ALDOT.
I guess talk about that funding source, because I thought this was just straight state money that came through, whether it's gas tax or something along those lines. So we applied for a grant from the state.
I would have to go back and check to get the details on that, because that was before I got into the role I'm in here. My understanding is that it was grant money from ALDOT and the MPO that we matched using some gas tax money. We use a lot of gas tax money to fund our local resurfacing projects, in addition to supplementing that which we get from the budget. But I'd have to go back and verify that.
Yeah, I'm just still really interested in specifically how Springville Road got removed from, because basically it came across the agenda as a part of a contract similar to what we just passed, and then it just never got done.
Yeah, so I know that we approved, so that contract that you're talking about that we approved was still part of the grant process. We still had to go through and get ALDOT reviewed process, which you don't have to do on a local package, and that's where a lot of our delay has been. That's pushed it back further and further than we were hoping for. But
so this is a situation where the funding is fully in place?
yeah, funding's in place. There's no funding gap situation. It's just a matter of going through because it is ALDOT funded projects, there's a review process that we have to go through that we wouldn't have to go through with a locally led project.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. The next topic we're going to talk about is a couple years ago we received a Section 130 rail safety grant from the Department of Transportation. We partnered with Norfolk Southern, who paid the 10% match on that to install quick curb safety bollards at rail crossings at Brussels Avenue, 15th Place Southwest, and 17th Street Southwest. Those went in place last week. And these are designed so that when you're approaching a rail crossing and the gate comes down, you can't drive around the gate. We've had a number of fatal accidents at these three sites in particular, in which it was caused by drivers driving around the gate. So we're looking forward to those being in place, improving safety at those rail crossings, and hopefully we'll start seeing more of those at other rail crossing locations in the future.
Yeah, that's great, fantastic. Really thankful to Norfolk Southern for their participation. They volunteered to provide the match for that, so we're grateful for them and their partnership. The 15th Street in particular is the one that I think put it crudely, has the highest body count. Unfortunately, the way the data is collected is by traffic accidents. So there's no sort of, real-time analysis to evaluate, the behavior and, how that changes after we implement measures like this. The standard has been to do retrospective analysis, which doesn't help the people who get injured or killed. Hopefully this will make a positive change, and in the meantime, anything that we can continue to do to improve safety at these crossings and any others, should definitely be going after. And it's nice to know that the rail companies also recognize this need. So,
Absolutely. A quick sidewalk project update. The Marinos Market sidewalk project that the council voted on earlier this past fall, we are finally getting into a pre-construction phase, and so we should start construction most likely next week around Marinos Market. So that's an exciting development. And then the final update is just regarding traffic calming. The speed cushions on 10th Court West are going to be installed this month. We had a little bit of a delay with some of our crews being stretched, but we're going to be getting those in the ground at some point this month. I don't have the exact week yet. We've also placed our bulk order for speed cushions for this year, so that was a couple months ago. We probably have a couple more months to wait just with some of our supply chain issues with these larger bulk orders. Once we get those in, we have I think 4 locations where the neighborhoods have voted for funding secured. So we'll be moving forward with those 4: 7th Street Northwest, Mims Street Southwest, Frida Jane Lane, and 56th Street South. I don't have a time frame yet for when those are going to be installed, just that those are the next ones that have funding in place once we have the speed cushions in hand. We'll also be adding an additional speed cushion to Glenwood Street, because going back and evaluating, we think we need one more in that location to be fully impactful.
Okay.
And so that is our update.
I noticed that the speed cushions at 19th Street and 3rd Avenue North had been replaced and kind of reconfigured. They're now much more noticeable than the previous treatment. So, are there other locations that are sort of hotspots for exhibition driving that type of treatment is being looked at?
I can't speak to that directly because I'm not involved with those conversations, so I'd have to go back and find out for you.
Okay. All right. We have in mind particularly the incident that occurred over New Year's. That location, 3rd Avenue West and 9th Street North. That was where that incident occurred, and if you just drive through that area, you can see that there's a lot of that type of activity that's occurring. Unfortunately, I know it's all over the city, including on private property like church parking lots and things like that. So, in any case, hopefully we'll make some progress on advancing enforcement on that, which, by the way, Councilor Woods is still working on moving some legislation forward that would enable the city to utilize, technology to do traffic enforcement. I know that some of the state legislators in particular are looking at creating additional disincentives. So in any case, it's something that is top of mind for us, and we're trying to work our channels to advance. Did want to get back to the repaving. So as those projects, as that paving moves place, I think in part because of our Complete Streets ordinance, we evaluate those segments as to whether or not we can reconfigure them to make them more accommodating for other modes of travel. Are there any that are on the current list that are significant corridors where we're looking to apply that type of treatment?
Yeah, there are 15 segments where we're applying complete streets striping and adding bike capacity. The most prominent ones are 32nd Street between Sloss and First. That's the local package. The grant package will complete from First Avenue South all the way to 3rd Avenue South. So that whole section of 32nd Street will be completed.
Okay.
Similar 5th Avenue South from Crestwood Boulevard back towards the park as part of the local resurfacing package is going to have complete streets, and then the grant package takes it from about 35th Street back to the expressway.
Okay, you said 32nd Street from First Avenue South.
From 2nd Avenue North to 1st Avenue South is the local portion of that.
Okay, all right, gotcha. So that leaves
And so the grant
some
portion,
gaps.
the grant portion, which is one of, I forget if it's in the ALDOT or the MPO package, will go from 1st Avenue South to 6th Avenue South. And then the 7th Avenue Complete Street project already has installed the bike lane from 6th Avenue South to Claremont.
Okay. I think I'm following. So basically, we'll do all of 32nd Street, when all of this is done, all of 32nd Street from University Boulevard up to First Avenue South will have complete
Up to
streets.
2nd Avenue North. We'll have it. Yes, all the way to Sloss Furnaces.
Okay. Got it. All right. And then 5th Avenue South from Crestwood Boulevard or Highway 78 back to Avondale Park.
That's the
41st
local
Street.
portion, correct. And then there's a slight gap that we have to address, and then the grant portion takes it from like 35th Street all the way back to the expressway.
Nice. Okay.
Those are the two big ones. There's, like I said, there's 15 segments altogether in the local package that will have complete streets. And then I think there's like an additional 3 or 4 in the various grant packages.
If it's not too much to ask, that would be great to have, either a list or a map of.
I can get that to you.
Okay. Councilor Woods, do you have any other burning questions to ask of Colin before he leaves us?
Yeah, just speed cushions in general, or specifically, I would say 5 Mile in Westchester.
Yeah, so I know 5 Mile and Westchester are being designed. I didn't bring them up in this group because I could not confirm before coming here whether or not the neighborhoods had voted on funding, and I didn't want to say that. But I know they're in the process of getting those designed and will be as part of this next tier that we're doing this bulk order on.
Excellent.
Okay. All right, well, I think that's all that I've got top of mind at the moment. So,
Thank you.
yes, thank you. Is there any other old or new business that we need to discuss? If not, we'll consider a motion to adjourn.
I move adjournment.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.